is a tutorial on how to use the basic editing tools in the video editing software OpenShot. First, let's launch the software. So I'm going to the dock. I'm going to the icon for OpenShot. And it looks like this. So I've already started a project. If you wanted to start a new project, I went over that in the last tutorial. Also remember that we're using a project folder. So before you bring anything into your project in OpenShot, you want to put it into your project folder. So my project folder is on the desktop, and let's look at that for a second. So I'm going to double click it to open up the project folder, and in the project folder I've organized it into 3 subfolders: audio, images, and video. So if we open up the video, you can see that I have a number of video files that we're going to use. Same thing with image. 10 image files that we're going to use. These happen to be JPEGs, but they could be PNGs or GIFs. And then the audio, I have some MP3s that we're going to use. So I'm going to minimize that and go back to the OpenShot video editor. So the first thing to make note of is just the basic areas. You have this area in the top left-hand corner that has all of your project files that you've imported, and you'll have an icon for those files. So this first one is an audio file. This next one's a video file. I haven't brought in any still files, any image files, but if I did, they would appear in here as well. So you bring in files by coming up here to these icons that are in the top left-hand corner and going to the green plus sign. That'll let you navigate to your project folder, and let's bring in some image files. So I can go to the image subfolder, select as many files as I want to bring in. I'm going to select all 10 and hit open. And now you'll notice there's coming into the project file area in OpenShot. To the right of the project file area, you have a preview window, which shows you a preview of the clip or the main project timeline. Below that, you have the main project timeline, and it's divided into tracks. So in this case, 5 tracks, but you can add or delete tracks at will. So if I wanted to bring down a piece of video or a still image or a piece of audio, you would go to your project file area, select the piece of video or audio or the image that you want to bring down. Let's say I bring down an image. I'm going to select this one and drag it and drop it onto the track that you want it to be displayed in the timeline. I'm going to put it in the top track, which in my case is track 5. So the playhead is this little blue arrow with a red bar. And if you drag that, I'm dragging it down to where I placed that image file. So you can see that this is what that image looks like. And that's a still image. If I wanted to bring down a piece of video, same process. So this piece of video is just a little photomoshed clip that I made from a drawing. To move the position of a piece of video on the timeline, you just select it and slide it back and forth. By default, this snapping function will be on. So right underneath your project files area and right above your timeline area, there's a series of icons, and the one that's the second one that looks like a magnet will cause a clip when you move it on the timeline to snap to the previous clip. You usually want to have that turned on. What if I bring down a clip and I want to only use part of the clip? You have a blade tool. So let me zoom this up so we can see a little bit better. So you have a blade tool, which is the third tool that looks like a pair of scissors. So if you get the pair of scissors and you move over the selected clip, you get a little icon that looks like an X-Acto blade and then a dotted line. And you position that exactly where you want to cut it and click, and now it's cut into two pieces. You could then turn off that tool by clicking the scissors again, and you can position that by clicking it and dragging it on the timeline. If you leave a gap between two clips, there's going to be a black area between those two clips. So if you don't want that black area, then simply get your move tool, move your clip back, and if you have your snapping function on, it'll snap it to the previous clip. Now usually when you're cutting with the scissor tool or the razor tool, you're trying to get rid of part of a clip. So if you cut out the middle part of a clip, you could then turn off the razor tool, select that clip, and hit delete on your keyboard, and it will delete that part of the clip. The other thing to make note of is that OpenShot will always let you recover something that you've cut out. So you do that basically by clicking on the end of a clip and dragging. And you'll notice that that part that I cut isn't actually gone at all. It's just hidden. So you can drag on that handle that's at the end of every clip. That double-headed arrow tells you that you have the handle. And as I'm dragging out, the clip is getting longer and longer and longer, and it's returning the part that I had clipped previously. Now, when you try to continue to pull and it won't pull any longer, you've pulled out as much clip as there is available. You can also hide part of a clip that way. So you can get the handle and just pull back to the left, and that'll hide the end of this particular clip. If you want to bring down audio, you would import your audio by hitting the plus sign in the icons in the top left-hand corner, navigate to your project folder and to the subfolder audio. I'm going to select all three of these audio tracks and hit open. And just like with video or still images, it will bring them into the file, the project file area. In this case, though, you'll see them marked with a musical note. You can select a piece of audio, and you can bring that down by dragging it down and dropping it into one of the empty tracks. So I'm going to drop it into track 4. So if I play this now, so in the play area, I get a preview. So it's this, in this case, this kind of texture that looks kind of like, you know, outer space. And then I have a little green play button. If I hit that, okay, so that's what I've edited so far. That's basic editing, and that's all I'm going to go over in this tutorial.